This rich kid just got into Harvard, but suddenly decided to become a homeless drifter. He donated away his entire $24,000 scholarship and burned his last bit of cash. Then he cut up all his ID cards and documents, got in his car, and started a journey with no limits. 2 years later, a hunter found his body in Alaska. Why would he give up his privileged life just to die out there? This is a real story that'll break your heart. After Chris cut up all his identification, he started hitchhiking and walking across the country. One day he caught a ride with a homeless couple. That night around the campfire, all three shared stories about their families. Chris had straight A's and got a full ride to Harvard Law School. His dad thought his beat-up old car was too crappy and wanted to buy him a luxury ride. But Chris flat out refused. He had zero interest in material things. Instead, he was obsessed with books. Reading was the only way he could find peace in his messed up family. Turns out his mom used to be the other woman. Chris and his sister were born while Dad was still with his first wife. So just like that, he and his sister became illegitimate kids. Dad would beat up Mom all the time. From the outside, they looked like the perfect family. But Chris felt like his home was full of violence and lies. The next morning, Chris said goodbye to the traveling couple because the Alaskan wilderness was calling his name. On the road, he felt more free than ever before. Even a simple apple tasted incredibly sweet.
I mean, you're like 100,000 times better than like any apple I've ever had.
Farm sprinkler systems became his bathroom. Every passing car was his free ride. Sometimes, Chris had to compromise, though, to make money. He worked a harvester, spent some time working on a farm in a small town, became good friends with the farm owner. When the owner learned about his dream of Alaska wilderness, he helped him get a hunting rifle and brought in an old hunter to teach him how to hunt and preserve meat. He advised Chris to wait until spring before heading to freezing Alaska. But Chris didn't listen to Wayne's advice. Soon after, he left the farm. 2 months flew by. His parents were worried sick. With police help, they found Chris's abandoned car. There were no signs of struggle or fighting inside. This gave his parents some temporary relief. After leaving the farm, Chris would spend tons of time at every stop, really taking in everything around him. In the wilderness, he'd just stop and stand still, quietly listening to nature's sounds. A year and a half passed. His parents' relationship started getting better because of Chris's disappearance. His mom would see homeless people on the street and think each one might be Chris. Meanwhile, Chris was about to reach Alaska and wanted to call his parents to let them know he was okay. But an old man next to him was on a long phone call. Chris gave his last coin to the old man. Soon after, he finally reached the Alaskan wilderness. After surviving in the wild for a few days, he discovered an abandoned bus. 142. Chris named it the Magic Bus. Inside were actually mattresses, a stove, lighters, and other supplies. Chris absolutely loved his current lifestyle. When hungry, he'd grab his gun and hunt in the mountains. But just as he aimed at a caribou, he noticed the old deer had its baby behind it. Chris couldn't bring himself to do it and gave up what could have been his winter food supply. But being soft-hearted quickly got him into trouble with no game. His stomach growled as he got thinner each day. He kept punching new holes in his belt, tightening it notch after notch. By week 7, the weather warmed up. Small animals returned to the area. Chris finally got to eat meat again. He could even bathe in the river under the warm sun. That day he spotted a massive moose. If handled right, it could feed him for months.